Thank you very much, Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was preparing my speech, I was wondering if I should start by expressing my sincere regrets that I'm not the Prime Minister of Norway. But I realized that might sound a bit pretentious. After all, you are the ones who regret that I'm not the Prime Minister of Norway. So you have to make do with a sub-prime version, I guess. This is a very dynamic conference. I've had the pleasure of attending the Arctic Frontiers Conference on a number of occasions. And a dynamic conference set in a region of dynamic and accelerating change. Climate change is happening much faster here. Human activity is increasing. And the ocean provides much of the answer to the need for sustainable economic development in the Arctic. Now, this is not new. The ocean, not least in the Arctic, has been the backbone of Norway's economy for centuries. What is new, however, is that the ocean is under threat as never before from climate change, pollution, including marine litter, loss of biodiversity, and overfishing. Our challenge is, in the Arctic, as in oceans globally, that if we are to achieve the sustainable development goals that the world has united behind, we need to produce more from the ocean. And if we are to produce more from the ocean, we need to take better care of it. We need to build a sustainable ocean economy, a smarter economy that is in sync with the ocean's ecology and builds on the tremendous regenerative capacity that the ocean has. At the heart of those efforts must be combating climate change. Climate change is the biggest threat to the ocean, most probably. There's a lot of talk about plastic, and that's a huge issue, but climate change is affecting the ocean in more profound ways, also ways that we don't even know enough about. And some of the most dramatic changes may well occur in the Arctic Ocean. Well, in fact, we're already seeing dramatic changes. There's a recent study concluding that in a business-as-usual scenario, ocean acidification over the next 80 years will result in a loss of 80% of cod in Arctic waters. Now, we've just learned that actually because of warming waters, there's more cod coming to the Arctic. But now we have to relearn that this is probably a passing economic benefit. So we're learning that the fish that built Norway's economy for centuries might be largely gone in 1 century. I was born in the Arctic, a bit south of here, and all my family roots are in the Arctic. My grandfather was able to put food on the table for my mother because he was producing dried and salted cod for the Portuguese market. And it's a bit mind-troubling to wonder, will my grandchildren or great-grandchildren have Norwegian cod on the table? We need to step up action for both climate mitigation and adaptation. And in this regard, the ocean has much to offer by way of natural solutions, mangroves, seabeds, grass beds, kelp, and by way of technological innovation. And therefore, we will depend ever more on marine and maritime science. That's also why research and knowledge are at the core of Norway's Arctic policy and ocean policy. Yesterday, the Norwegian Research Council presented its new strategy for research and innovation for and in the North, with an emphasis on the ocean as a sustainable resource, climate and the environment, knowledge-based business development, and the bioeconomy. And we're immensely proud of the new state-of-the-art ice-breaking research vessel, Kronprins Haakon, which is an important addition to Norway's research infrastructure, with a base here in Tromsø, but already on its first mission in the Antarctic. That vessel will significantly increase our understanding of the polar regions and oceans. Now, scientific knowledge is good and important, but it is even better when it's put to use. I spoke earlier about the need for smarter ocean solutions. The world needs more knowledge-based, ecosystem-based, integrated ocean management. And such better management starts with coastal states. Yes, we have the high seas. Yes, we have things to do with the ocean as a global joint resource, but it's not more joint than the fact that we have coastal states with exclusive economic zones, and that's where the work has to start. 90% of marine resources, estimately, are found within exclusive economic zones. 80% of marine pollution comes from land-based sources in coastal states. So the responsibility of coastal states is paramount. And we've talked globally about integrated ocean management since the Rio conference in 1992 and the Rio Plus 10 years after. Science-based management plans is an SDG 14 target. The OECD report on the ocean economy 2030 puts a strong focus on the need for integrated ocean management. The problem is it's not really trending. Can you imagine? Scientifically and ecosystem-based integrated ocean management is not trending. So if any of you could find a word or a term in 140 letters, let me know, because we need that to trend. We need a better ocean management. The ocean economy can't be sustainable if each economic sector goes it alone. Although the ocean is vast, it's not limitless, so we need planning, we need spatial planning to allocate territory to diverse industries, and we need all industries to operate within ecosystem boundaries. This includes, of course, land-based industries that hugely affect the oceans, be that with nutrients from agriculture or not least plastics. A year back, the world endorsed a zero vision for the discharge of plastics into the ocean. This is primarily a matter for land-based production, consumption, and waste management. And it is Norway's ambition that this year, at the UN Environment Assembly, the world will unite on and agree on a framework with an integrated approach to combating marine litter at the global level. Such regional and global agreements are needed, but action must happen at the national level. And that's why good ocean policies and good ocean management is so critical. We have a shared interest in having more countries do what is needed in keeping our oceans healthy and productive. We need to reduce the threats that undermine that important regenerative potential of the oceans. And this is why the Prime Minister of Norway has established the high-level panel on or for a sustainable ocean economy. It consists of serving and sitting heads of state and government from all continents, and their goal is to advance a new understanding of the relationship between the ocean and the economy, so that we can both protect the oceans and optimize their value for humankind. The report will be presented in 2020, the report and the recommendations of that panel, to what will hopefully, I'm saying hopefully because you need to respect the UN General Assembly that hasn't yet decided formally on the next UN Ocean Conference, but it will very likely take place in June 2020 in Lisbon, Portugal. On the way there, we have another important meeting taking place in Oslo in October this year, the Our Ocean Conference hosted by Norway. We hope that that conference also will contribute to this important understanding that ocean wealth depends on ocean health. And in that aspiration for the panel and in that aspiration for our ocean conference, we're going to draw inspiration from the successes of the Arctic Frontiers conferences that are really bringing all the relevant Arctic stakeholders and actors to the table. And as we've seen over the years, increasingly putting a focus on sustainable blue growth through green thinking and through smarter green solutions. Thank you very much.